agriculture and rural development by consolidating on successes of past administrations in Nigeria without necessarily embarking on policy somersaults or reversals.
Agriculture is not new, but for nearly 3 decades we really almost forgot agriculture, and therefore we began to spend about $22 billion a year importing food, which shouldn't be, because there's nothing we grow, we are buying from outside that we can't produce. The idea was to bring agriculture to the consciousness of Nigerians, factor in the private sector more seriously, engage young people, engage women, mechanize to the highest degree, and then achieve self-sufficiency in food production in the first stage, and become, like we were before, a major exporter of food to the rest of the world. The administration before we came was working on something called the Growth Enhancement Scheme. Quite a noble scheme, because it was trying to get farmers to produce more. But the difference between what we are doing now and what was done before is that we are aware of the problems that confront agriculture, aware of the fact that for too long we literally forgot agriculture, and finally recognizing that oil and gas made us lose sight of the reality that agriculture is actually the primary industry of the Nigerian nation. I think people forgot that for a period of nearly 30, 40 years. And since oil was coming, we were busy buying instead of producing. And in the process of doing that, we denied our rural people jobs, we took life away from them, reduced the peasants to absolute penury, and carried on as if oil would be there forever. We all know how fickle the prices of oil can be worldwide, and we all know that a time is near when oil may not play the same role as it has played in the past. So that awareness creation, that change of emphasis, that redirection of philosophy is exactly why we are different from what has been happening before. And the results are showing clearly.
Nigeria presently is among the countries with the lowest level of agricultural mechanization in Africa and the rest of the world, with about 0.03 horsepower per hectare annually, compared to the Food and Agriculture Organization's recommended 1.5 horsepower per hectare, a situation which requires urgent steps to redress our extremely low level of mechanization to achieve the goals of Nigeria's roadmap on agriculture. The Engineering and Mechanization Division under the Federal Department of Agriculture, FDA, of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development is saddled with the responsibility of looking at the federal government's policy direction and advising on policies relating to agricultural mechanization.
So far, the division is saddled with the responsibility of acquiring equipments that will reduce drudgery to farmers, be it in production, land preparation, harvesting, and processing. In fact, up to the end of the value chain, storage. So all these are in the division of the engineering and mechanization. We also look at some of our units where we train operators in agricultural equipment so that we maintain those structures and infrastructures in those units. So that is where the engineering aspect comes in. So we have under us the Agric Machinery and Mechanics Operators Training Center in Misau, Bauchi State, and Akure in Ondo State, where we train operators and mechanics of all agricultural equipments.
AMOTRAC in full means Agricultural Mechanics and Machinery Operators Training Center. This center came into force or was operational in 1988, the center came up as a result of the massive tractors and equipment that were imported into the country during the Shagari Green Revolution era. These machines came in and there were not enough manpower to manage them. In fact, taxi drivers were converted to emergency tractor operators that led to a lot of damages and even loss of life. So the center came on board in 1988, and in 1992, a sister station was set up in Misau to take care of the northern states. Before then, Amotrak Akure took care of the whole country. People come here all over the 36 states to train here. The center has its objective, which is training agricultural mechanics and tractor operators nationwide. We have the training in this form. We have the short-term training, we have the on-the-spot training, we have the trainers training, then we also have the long-term training. Since inception, we have done the short-term training, a week or 2 weeks for operators from State Ministry of Agriculture all over the country, ADPs, River Basin Development Authorities, NALDA, Agricultural Engineering Department in tertiary institutions from the workshop, and established private institutions, farm establishments all over the country. As we take care of government, we also take care of private establishments. The long-term training for mechanics, 2 years training, while the tractor operators will run for 1 year. And the age limit is between 18 and 35. The mechanics will cover a lot. They will repair the tractor, maintain them, strip the engine, work on the hydraulic system, work on all the implements. So the scope of their training is the syllabus is wider, is more demanding. Since inception in 1988, Amotrak Akure has trained over 3,500 tractor operators, some mechanics, some agricultural engineers, and some technical officers. The issue of mechanization, I would rather say in recent time, the awareness is gaining momentum. Despite the fact that we just have 20,000. It is the interest of the people that will ginger importation or local production. Right now, the awareness is high. 2014, we trained about 50 students here. Then between 2015 and today, 2018, we have trained about 53 or 54 students. Because 4 years. And that one about 9, 10, 12 years. So the awareness is there. There is need for people to invest in the purchase of farm machinery to help boost food production. Amotrak this year experienced a massive upgrading of our facilities. Massive. Massive in the sense that the structure behind the red roof, pink roof is a structure that they invested. It has a classroom, 2 classrooms, a large workshop, and 6 offices. It's for training. They gave us a lot of machinery, 2 tractors, those smaller equipments are there, and other facilities, office equipment, and a lot of implements. So that shows that government has recognized this center the more. And with this massive upgrading of the center, then the next phase is for us to actually key into our mandate of training, the long-term training that I mentioned earlier. So with these facilities on ground, and we have students to come and train, with manpower, the deficiency of manpower will be reduced, though not totally eroded. Then people will now be encouraged to invest money in tractor purchase.
We are supposed to have not less than 100,000 tractors every year for the next 5 years. That will take us to near 1.5 horsepower per hectare. But as it is, it has to be very gradual, because by the time we flood the country with the tractors we have, we may not have even the land, because the land is not yet ready for, has not been cleared for tractorization. So that is why we want to take it phase by phase, as we have just entered into one MOU with John Deere, who are to provide us with 10,000 tractors for the next 5 years. Gradually, we are going to be there. But for now, we are just going to increase. For this year, they already assured us of 2,000 units, which we have 400 units on the ground now. The MOU we have signed with the John Deere, we are assured of service centers, spare parts. So it is going to be the lifespan of the tractor, we are likely to get it, because a lifespan of a tractor is between 20 to 25 years with good maintenance and proper service routine maintenance. You will be able to achieve that. So we are hoping that subsequent deployment of tractors to farmers, we have to have this backup of spare parts and service centers. We have the blacksmith training center in Ilorin, where we train our rural blacksmiths in modern blacksmithing, where they can fabricate simple farm tools that will assist farmers and remove drudgery at Ilorin, Kwara State.
We are creating jobs. We are training the interested either youth or adult or any interested person in the act of production of those equipment. You know, most of these hand tools are being imported from the various Asian countries. By training our youths and by training individual Nigerians on how to do it here, it will save a lot of foreign exchange, and then all those tools and equipment will be available, affordable, and cost-effective. So, hence our clients is all over. We train from the whole part of the country. From this place covers the whole 36 states and Federal Capital Territory. when we train people, they get those equipment. We train them on it. We identify them. We shortlist them. We recommend them to federal government. Federal government will patronize those trainees, and then we create job for them. Their product now is at different communities in the country. They produce all these axe, cutlasses, hoe, a simple hand sheller, and all other things that you have seen. All those equipment get to the farmers at the grassroots level, because almost at the communities we invite people from each local government and train them under our scheme. Thanks to federal government, because it's federal government that has been sponsoring. They will ask us to invite them. We invite people from the nook and crannies of the local government area, of the community. We invite them to this place, batch by batch. We train them on specific tools. They will produce with high tensile strength materials, in which we took cognizance of our environment. We are used to this place. We know the soil type and everything that we use. So the type of hand tools and equipment that have been manufactured suits our community. And then the cost of production. If you take, like, for example, a hand trowel now that is being produced from Asian countries, the size, the ruggedness will not be as the one we are producing here. And then their own cost there is very high, whereas what we are producing there is quite cheaper. And then you can easily get it. You don't need to come to the urban area to come and get it. That is the essence of the program. We train rural community, rural artisans. When we train them, they go back to their community and reproduce all these things and start to sell it to the farmers. Even they go and some of them will take it to go and meet the farmers in their farm. Farmers don't have time to come to the countries, to the town to come and get all these things. So some of these are blacksmiths. They go and meet those farmers on the farm and sell it to them. And some of them even collect their knife, their cutlasses to their workshop and then repair and return it back to them. So it's facilitate easy communication, easy services between the farmers and the artisans. Looking back at our past activities, I feel so fulfilled. And thanks to the federal government of Nigeria, thanks to the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, because it's through their efforts that all these things have been carried out and done successfully. We have trained quite over 4,000 trainees, artisans, engineers that do come here for training. So most of the time, we also got feedback from them. Before, we normally travel all around and move from one community to another to assess what they are doing and see their performance. But these days, we do contact them. Some do contact us through the GSM. Mechanization, we started with this thing, and we cannot leave it. Even advanced countries, they use some simple tools. They use a lot of tools. We are moving away from the era of cutlass and hoe, using it to cultivate, but we are advancing. Here, we still produce simple machines. We produce the push type, in which we support the small farm holder. Mechanization of small farm holder is being promoted. And you know, by mechanizing the rural area, we have a lot of small-scale farmers. It's these small-scale farmers that are dominating the majority. They constitute about 70% of the farmers in this country. We are able to service them. Apart from that, we also produce spare parts to the small tractor, to small engine, the planters, what have you, most of this agri equipment that the federal government is promoting. We produce spare parts to them so that all this in downtime will be very low. So hence, there is rapid mechanization of agriculture in the country.
For over 4 decades, Nigeria's economy has heavily depended on crude oil exports. The oil boom of the 1970s led Nigeria to neglect its agricultural and light manufacturing industries. In 2002, oil and gas export accounts for more than 98% of export earnings and about 83% of government revenue.
These and more are part of the activities of the Engineering and Mechanization Unit of the Federal Department of Agriculture in the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. Please join me same time next week for more breakthrough of the ministry with regards to mechanization of agriculture in Nigeria. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.